Top 7 Most Chilling Admissions Revealed During Murder Trials. The year 2023 was filled with a plethora of true crime headlines, ranging from the trial of Alex Murdaugh for the murder of 2 people to an arrest in connection with the Gilgo Beach murders. These are 7 high-profile cases that have dominated the headlines this year and are expected to continue to do so in the months to come. Number 7. Idaho homicides occurred. In January, Brian Kohberger, a PhD student and teaching assistant in the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology at Washington State University, was charged with the stabbing deaths of Kaylee Goncalves, 21, Madison Mogan, 21, Xana Kernadle, 20, and Ethan Chapin, 20. All of these individuals were students at the University of Idaho. The stabbings occurred in an off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho, in November 2022. Even though the authorities have not provided any explanation for the killings, the information obtained from Kohberger's cell phone indicates that he was in the vicinity of the victim's residence on at least 12 occasions before the night of the killings, as stated in the court documents. However, a bloody sheath that was linked to Kohberger by DNA was seized at the scene of the murders. The knife that was used in the killings was not located. From this point forward, a judge entered a not guilty plea on behalf of Kohberger in May. If he is found guilty, he could be sentenced to death. Although there is no specific date for the trial, the prosecution has suggested that it take place around the summer of 2024. Number 6. The trial of Alex Murdaugh continues. Following a weeks-long double murder trial packed with drama worthy of a Netflix series, Alex Murdaugh was found guilty of fatally shooting his wife, Maggie, and son Paul at their 1,770-acre hunting lodge in the South Carolina Low Country in June 2021 in a botched scheme to cover up his financial fraud. The 54-year-old former lawyer and scion of a powerful legal family was sentenced to consecutive life terms with no chance for parole. In November, he was sentenced to an additional 27 years in prison for financial crimes. What's next? Murdaugh adamantly denies killing his family members. His lawyers have alleged that the court clerk tampered with the jury and are seeking a new trial. Number 5. Gilgo Beach murders. Rex Sturman, an architect who is 59 years old, was arrested without incident in the vicinity of his office in Manhattan in July. He was charged with the murders of 3 women, Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, who were associated with a series of homicides that have been unresolved for a long time and are referred to as the Gilgo Beach murders. The not guilty plea was entered by Huerman. In 2010, their bodies were discovered along a deserted stretch of beach on Long Island after they had been strangled and wrapped in burlap. This led to the discovery of 7 additional deaths in the vicinity, which resulted in a macabre murder mystery that resulted in the creation of a non-fiction book that became a bestseller, a series on Netflix, and a podcast. The next step is that Huerman is also the primary suspect in the disappearance and death of a 4th lady, Maureen Brainard Barnes, which occurred in 2007. Huerman is currently awaiting a decision from a grand jury regarding whether or not he will be charged with her murder. There is currently no scheduled date for the trial. However, members of Huerman's family, including his wife, Asa Ellerup, will take part in a documentary that will be broadcast on NBC during the proceedings. The divorce petition was submitted by Ellerup a few days after Huerman was arrested, and Ellerup is not a suspect in the killings. Number 4. When it comes to Brian Walshy, an individual named Brian Walshy, who is 47 years old and hails from Massachusetts, has been charged with murder in connection with the disappearance of his wife, Anna Walshy, who is 39 years old. He entered a not guilty plea. On January 2, the day after his wife was last seen, he was spotted on surveillance film purchasing cleaning products at a Home Depot located close to their residence in Cohasset, Massachusetts. The cleaning materials were valued at $450. The prosecution believes that Walshy dismembered his wife and disposed of her remains after using their son's iPad to Google the best ways to get rid of a body. Walshy also used the iPad to conduct other incriminating internet searches, such as, "Can you be charged with murder without a body? How long before a body starts to smell? And what does formaldehyde do?" During the time that his wife was missing, Walshy was under home confinement orders because he had previously entered a guilty plea to federal fraud charges surrounding the selling of bogus Andy Warhol paintings in April 2021. He was waiting for his sentence at the time of his wife's disappearance. From here on out, Tracy Minor, Walsh's attorney made a passing reference to the possibility of a defense before his arraignment in April. She argued that in the state of Massachusetts, a missing person is not presumed dead for 7 years because of the ease with which someone can vanish. Minor stated that there was nobody discovered in the area. There is no lethal weapon in existence. The absence of a motive is. The following hearing in this matter is scheduled to take place on January 29. Number 3. The murder of a cyclist in Austin. Caitlin Armstrong, a yoga instructor from Texas who is 35 years old, was found guilty of the murder of Anna Moriah Wilson, a professional cyclist who was 25 years old and had been romantically related to Armstrong's then-boyfriend and fellow professional cyclist, Colin Strickland, in 2022. The verdict was handed out this month. It was several hours after Wilson had met up with Strickland that his body was discovered in the residence of a friend in Austin, Texas, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Both Strickland and Armstrong were the subjects of lengthy interrogations by law enforcement. Although Strickland was found not guilty in the case, Armstrong managed to escape the country before the authorities could apprehend her. In June 2022, she was taken into custody in a hostel in Costa Rica. A search warrant revealed that she had her sister's passport, as well as a receipt for $6,360 worth of plastic surgery. Additional charges of first-degree murder were brought against Armstrong after she was extradited to Austin. During her trial, the prosecution produced evidence such as a security video that showed Armstrong's 2012 Jeep Cherokee driving about the area where Wilson was shot, as well as her DNA that was found on Wilson's bicycle. After that, Armstrong was found guilty of Wilson's murder and received a sentence of 90 years in jail. Number 2. He is the dentist who is accused of poisoning his wife's protein shakes. A dentist named James Tulliver Craig, who is 45 years old and hails from Colorado, was charged with the murder of his wife, Angela Craig, in March. According to the prosecution, he poisoned his wife's pre-workout protein shakes with arsenic and cyanide, ultimately resulting in the death of his wife, who was 43 years old, so that he may have an affair with another woman. According to the records filed in the court, Craig conducted several internet searches that might be considered incriminating. These searches included how to make poison and is arsenic detectable in autopsy. In October, Craig entered a plea of not guilty to accusations of first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. What comes next is that Craig accepted the allegations. On the 19th of April 2024, his trial is scheduled to start. Number 1. Consider the case of Natalie Holloway. The case of Natalie Holloway, who had been missing for nearly 20 years, was eventually solved in October when Joran van der Sloot revealed that he had bludgeoned the 15-year-old girl from Alabama to death on a beach in Aruba and then pushed her body into the water. It had been speculated for a long time that van der Sloot was responsible for Holloway's disappearance in 2005. Van der Sloot's shocking admission was made as part of a plea bargain in a case involving extortion and wire fraud. Van der Sloot stated in his plea deal that he was on a beach in Aruba when Holloway rejected his sexual attempts and kneed him in the groin. Holloway was also present at the time. After that, he kicked her in the face. Then he got a cinder block nearby and used it to smash her head in with it completely. Finally, he took her body and threw it into the water. During his sentencing hearing, Van der Sloot expressed his regret to the Holloway family by saying, "I would like to apologize to him. I am not the same person that I was back then any longer than I am right now. I surrendered my heart to Jesus Christ, and he was the one who helped me get through everything." In the case involving extortion and wire fraud, Van der Sloot was given a sentence of 20 years in federal prison. Did you like it? Tell us what you think of the video in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting videos.